Deep in the heart of southern Africa, near a place called Masvingo, you'll find these incredible stone ruins of a kingdom that was almost forgotten. For centuries, nobody really knew who built them. It was a total mystery wrapped in myth. So today, we're going to uncover the truth behind the walls of Great Zimbabwe.
And this isn't just some old pile of rocks. I mean, listen to what experts like Brett Hilton Barber and Lee R. Berger call it, one of the iconic African Iron Age landmarks. That tells you right there, this place is a big deal, historically speaking.
And that importance is all tied up in this one central question that drove explorers and historians nuts for generations. You look at these huge, amazing walls and you just have to ask, who on earth built this place?
Okay, let's zoom in on the most famous part, the Great Enclosure. It's a masterpiece of architecture. Look at these walls. They were all built without using any mortar at all, just stone on stone, perfectly balanced. But you know what's funny is that the big controversy wasn't about how they built it. Nope, it was about who built it. A really fierce debate raged for years over the identity of the people who came up with this whole thing.
And that brings us right to the heart of the story, this total clash between myth and reality. We're going to peel back all these layers of old colonial theories to get to the truth, to find out who really built this incredible kingdom.
Now this is where it gets really wild. When European colonists first stumbled upon this site, their minds were kind of blown. They just couldn't accept that local Africans could have built something so sophisticated. It just didn't fit their worldview. So what did they do? They credited it to, well, ancient Phoenicians, maybe traders from India, basically anyone but the people who actually lived there.
But then, science stepped in. After decades of really careful, painstaking archaeological work, a totally different story started to emerge. And this one, it was based on actual evidence, not on prejudice. A story that pointed right back to the people of the land. And this chart just lays it all out perfectly. The myth was that it was built by outsiders, right? Some foreign creation just dropped into Africa. But the reality, backed by tons of evidence, is that Great Zimbabwe was the work of an indigenous African kingdom. It was the center of a powerful local civilization, no question. So, if this was the capital of a major kingdom, what was that kingdom all about? Well, the answer, in a word, is trade. Great Zimbabwe wasn't just a place for the king to live. It was this bustling hub of a huge economic network that stretched across the whole region. To really get a handle on its influence, archaeologists came up with the term Zambezia. Now, that's not what they called it back then, but it helps us picture the sheer scale of this thing, a massive region full of different communities, but all economically dominated by Great Zimbabwe. I mean, just think about its reach. This kingdom's trade network went all the way across what is now Zambia, Zimbabwe, and down into South Africa. And they weren't cut off from the rest of the world either. They were talking to agents for Muslim seafarers on the coast, which means they were connected to the massive Indian Ocean trade routes. But you know how these stories go? Like all great empires, this one didn't last forever. And the story of its fall is actually part of a much bigger pattern in the region, one that was driven by a force that no one could control. To give you some perspective, Great Zimbabwe wasn't the very first big city here. That honor goes to a city called Mapungubwe. Then, from the 13th to the 15th centuries, Great Zimbabwe hit its absolute peak. But by the 1600s, that power had broken apart, and the kingdom was fading. So, what happened? What could possibly bring down such a powerful empire? It wasn't an invasion, it wasn't a civil war, it was something way more fundamental. The cause? Climate. You see, that part of the world has a long history of really unstable weather. The climate started shifting, and that brought on these long, terrible droughts. And when you have droughts like that, it just wrecks your agriculture. Your resources dry up, and people have to leave. The population scattered, and this great centralized kingdom just fragmented. And that brings us to what this all means today. The story of Great Zimbabwe is really about rediscovery. It's about taking this place from being some misunderstood ruin and finally putting it where it belongs, as this incredible symbol of African history and ingenuity. So, if there's one thing to take away, it's this. Those silent, beautiful stone walls are a monument. They're a testament to the power, the innovation, and the resilience of the indigenous kingdom that built them.
This is a profound piece of world history, built by Africans for Africans. And after getting this one story right, it really makes you think, doesn't it? It leaves us with this huge final question. What other amazing histories, what other great stories that have been ignored or twisted over the years are still out there, just waiting for us to rediscover them?